Fox here, Shadow Wizard Money Gang, and today I'm going to be showing you how to gear your caster for Phase 2, Season of Discovery. And there's a lot to it, and I'm going to get into it very briefly, but first I just want to point out, like, not the biggest STV farmer, more of a VG gamer, but, you know, I already got my Mount Blood, well, about to, and I already got my Exalted with Arathi, etc. Just freaking, just vibing, alright? There's a lot of things to know about playing a caster in PvP gear-wise, and a lot of stuff you might, be keen on figuring out. So take a watch at this video here, look at the gameplay if you want, and this is my first WoW video, so love you all. Things first, let's get right into things with the consumables. Now, most importantly, we're going to want to get our defensive stats up as a caster, as in World of Warcraft, stats are a game of diminishing returns. Oftentimes, casters are most lacking in things like armor, so you get more value per point of armor than, say, someone in plate, or mostly mail. Even shaman casters who wear some mail, or even a shield, have some of their best gear options being cloth, so in my opinion, the most important consumes as a caster is Elixir of Greater of Defense. Elixir of Greater Defense is so goated this phase. So if there's one thing to always keep on you while PvPing, it's that. It's 250 armor in a bottle, basically, on an hour cooldown. It's basically like equipping a freaking giga chest piece that's not cloth, you know? Like it's like equipping a freaking mail chest piece, you know, just by sipping on it, you know? Now that you can, now that, like, we're talking about elixirs, you can obviously keep them all up at once, you know, if you're giga sweating, and I mean all of them, like, even, like, agility and shit like that, but, you know, that's just kind of a waste of gold. But Elixir Defense and Arcane Elixir will do most of the heavy lifting, because the 14 spell power from Arcane Elixir is nice. That one only lasts 30 minutes, though. All the other elixirs last, like, an hour. I would recommend Troll's Blood Elixirs if you're running without a healer or self-heals, because the HP restore is nice, especially on Warlocks when you're already, like, freaking life-draining people. Now Fortitude Elixirs are also nice, and basically function as 15 stam. So basically another Rumsey rum, which is another 5 to 15 stam, depending on how much you want to spend. But the Rumsey's a 15 minute, whereas the Fort's an hour. Now that elixirs are out of the way, let's talk about pots, right? Now, how much do you think you're going to be potting on cooldown in PvP? You're going to have a lot of different kinds of pots. You're going to have pots that you pop before the BG if you're giga sweating. Now, you don't have to be doing all that. You could just be popping your mana pots and your health pots and your BG mana pots and your AB health pots and such. And you don't even have to pot in open world PvP. But if you're trying to sweat out here, we're popping pots. Alright? Obviously, greater mana pots, greater health pots, or superior health potions. Superior health potions are good especially if you're like a healer and you don't have great peels and you're trying to heal someone else and you want to, you know, just heal yourself at the same time. Pretty nice. Faps are always the goat as a caster, especially for rogue. You know, they gap you when they open you. You know, if they have a gap in their CC, they fuck it up at all. You fap that gap and they can't re-CC you. Easy clap, you know. So they deserve it anyway. So I pop them a lot. Swifties, obviously. Wildvine potions, if you're a warlock that likes to live life on the edge. That's the RNG Death Rollers pot. Take a look at it if you don't know. All of your protection pots, i.e. Shadow, Fire, Nature, are great to pre-pop when loading into a BG or before STV. Think of it like almost a conditional based healing proc, or like an absorb shield, which is literally what it is. It's a conditional absorb shield, I guess. But yeah, there's all sorts of pots for PvP. These are from, like, all classes, not just casters, too. So, I don't know. Just keep your wizard oils on your weapon, right? Those are the little wizard oils. Think of it like an enchantment that you have to keep reapplying. And then eat your stam and spirit food. And then eat your greater elix pots and whatever other shit you want to add to it. Icing on the cake. And as far as gearing goes, do not get that irradiated minus stam gear. Do not do that. Prioritize stam and int, as that is what allows you to be in the fight longer and be alive longer. Spirit and MP5 do not play much of a role in PvP, as most of the time you have shorter, burstier engagements than drink to full and repeat. So you want to have that larger resource pool versus one that restores over time, you know? you want to prioritize spell power, of course, too, but, you know, not all pieces, you know, are gonna have like the Dreamweave have like 18, right? Now you can make up for the fact that they have like spirit and no stam on them and other pieces, right? Like, or you could still rock those 12 stam 11 int ones from Uldaman until you get them, and then just, you know, basically, like, well, think of it like that. Like, you could have a spell power ring and those gloves from Uldum, or you can have the fucking grime encrusted ring with a shit ton of stamina armor, and then the gloves, the Dreamweave gloves with extra spell power, until you get the Fighter Ace gloves, which the Fighter Ace gloves are what you want bis anyway. So just look at things like the Fighter Ace gloves, and that's the kind of shit you want as a caster. You know what I mean? Anyway, I have a little bit of a script here, so let me just take a look at what I was... Oh yeah, the synthetic mantle, things like that. I'm just giving you some examples. One thing you want to realize is that there's 2 or 3 tier sets, right? There's one that gives hit and armor. It's the one you want. It's perfect for PvP. And the 3-piece gives like the conditional proc. And this is as far as cloth pieces go, right? I'm basically just telling you to pay attention to the Gnomer tier that you buy based off of these guidelines, alright? You're going to want to get the one that gives armor and hit. Anyway. Let's see. Oh, yeah. You're going to obviously want your trinket. Swap it off to, you know, a spell power trinket. After you're done popping it, you know, your CC break trinket. You'll have to be out of combat, but it's whatever. You're going to always want to have that 5% stam. Or sorry, it's 8% movement speed, or the 5 stam on the boots if it's the Arathi boots. As far as I'm aware, those Arathi boots percentage to movement speed and stamina do not, and movement speed and the movement speed from the enchantment do not stack, so it's one or the other. So you can put the 5 stam on those ones. Otherwise, really just go with last patch's crafted boots with the movement speed just for the wall and the hit. You know, the hit's great if you're a DPS, and it's great for dispels if you're a healer, and the wall's just great for healers in general, and just for anyone in general, so... Anyway, you know, if you need more hit, you want to have around 3% hit, right? So that's going to be your 1% from the tier piece if you have it, 1% from the belt if you have it, 1% from the engineering belt as well if you have... don't go for the engineering belt if you're a healer, but otherwise it's pretty good. Otherwise, the hit belt from Gnomer with the inflated armor and the stam is pretty much bis, because it also has the spell power and healing for, like, most classes. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, just keep those things in mind. And, yeah, just things like that. You know, put the fucking armor enchant on your cloak. I'm just trying to think of other things. Use your armor patches on the pieces you can enchant with shit. And, you know, you should be really good. Anyway, if you want any more information on stat values, etc., want a place to PvP or raid in SoD, you can join my Discord and or my guild if you're on Crusader Strike North America. Have a good one, everyone. Sorry for cringe. I'm gonna put my microphone down now.